Hello, my dear viewers. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at some Gundam card game, what we call commands, which are for other games that would be like options or items, things like that you would be using. We're going to be looking strictly at the starter deck cards. And the reason I want to make this video is because in other games, for example, when Digimon launched, you had to get the options from the starter deck and in order to run a meta deck. That is a possibility with this game as well, in which you may or may not need uh, some commands more than others in order to run a good deck. So let's make sure that is not happening. So we're going to look at the top 5 commands from starter decks. Starting with our first one, number 5, Indignation. This is a card that has a main and an action, meaning you can use it just during your turn at will, or you can use it as an action as your opponent is attacking. And what it does is you choose one friendly unit, and it gets +2 attack power. So if you have lower attack power than your opponent, and they're attacking into one of your units, but they're attacking because they wouldn't trade, basically you just needed more attack power, you can trigger this card and hit them harder than they think they would. You can trigger this from your hand, almost like an ace or a counter in many other card games. It is relatively cheap to use, only level 2 1 cost. And if that doesn't work out, well, it also can be used as a pilot. You could use it as an Angelo Sopper for +1 attack power, just generally speaking. This is a really solid one, probably one of the very few, if any, other commands that are also pilots that you'll find in this list. This is my personal favorite, number 5. That's both a command and a pilot, but I can see people arguing for others, such as Hawk of Endymion or even Rambaral being here, but I just think Indignation, the effect of the command is just better. Next, we're looking at Siege Ploy. Now, this is what I feel is a very underrated command. You'll notice that it is both burst and main/action, meaning you can pretty much trigger this at any point in the game when you see it. It is only a level 3 and cost 1, so it's not an expensive card to play. The burst means that if your opponent hits it, it'll still trigger the main ability or action, which in this case is that you choose an enemy unit with 5 or less HP, and you rest it or suspend it to keep it from attacking or doing the things that it wanted to do. This card can save you. It can, since you can trigger it from your hand or even from your burst, it can save you by suspending or resting one of your opponent's units, and they no longer have the attacks to finish you off, for example. In addition to that, you could just trigger it yourself as a main if you're running something like a breach deck and you don't have Gundam Wing that can attack unrested units. You can rest something and still breach through it, destroying it and breaching into your opponent's base or shields. Now, this card you only get 2 copies of it in your starter deck. So if you are planning to run 4 of, you're definitely going to want to get more of it. So most of the other commands in this list are cards that you get 3 of. This is one of the few that you actually only get 2 of. I think it's significant, and again, I think it's a little underrated. I know many people say that you could just, pair up with Amuro, for example, to get this ability to work. But just having it off your hand, be able to surprise your opponent with it or save as a defensive measure, I think that's worth using it as well in many cases, right? So Siege Ploy is my number 4 command from the starter decks. Next, we're going to be looking at our number 3 command, and that is going to be Striker Pack. Honestly, you can make the argument that this is maybe a number 2. So this is a level 4 cost 2, and what it does is it triggers from either burst or main, and it puts down a token. And depending on your situation, if it's from burst, you can put down a 3/3 blocker, an Ailstrike Gundam. If you trigger it in your main during your turn, you can pick between either a 4/2 or 2/4 Gundam blocker. All of the tokens are blocker. Any of them that come out are blockers, which is really good. You have a really strong token, probably one of the strongest tokens in the game coming out. That's a blocker and can do big damage right off the bat. If you're running a deck that wants commands in the trash, of course, this gets a unit out and it counts as a command that's going to go into the trash and kind of help you towards that. This is just a really, really good command, putting down a unit that's pretty powerful, a really strong token to be used in your defense, if you will. Next, our number 2 command from starter decks is the Red Close Combat. This is a level 2, cost for 2. Can be triggered basically at any point in the game as a burst, main, or action. And what it does is you choose one enemy unit and you deal 2 damage to it. This could potentially destroy a small unit that may be going for game. It can be used defensively. It can be used offensively if you want to get rid of something that you're just not strong enough to deal with your token or whatever it is that you have, and just deal 2 additional damage to it as you're attacking into it. Maybe pop a token. Maybe keep your opponent from attacking if you just have enough to destroy it. This is really nice to have, right? And the fact that it triggers from the burst also helps you deal defensively. One of the strongest options. You do get 3 of them, however, but you do need, you may want to run 4, I don't know. But make sure that you have them because if you're running red, this is definitely one that you want to have. All right, moving on. We have Unforeseen Incident. So Unforeseen Incident, probably the best command in my opinion. It's a level 3 that costs you only 1, and just like close combat, it can trigger at any point in the game. You have it as a burst, main, or action, and what it does is you choose 1 enemy unit and it gets -3 attack power during the turn. This is very powerful because that means that Unforeseen Incident can basically stop your opponent in their tracks. If you have a blocker, for example, and you block and use Unforeseen Incident, maybe your blocker won't die because you reduce your opponent's attack power. Remember that you also need attack power in order to check shields or destroy a base. Reducing their attack power means that they may whiff. They may attack without being able to destroy a shield or base, saving you from being destroyed. Maybe they have a very strong unit that you can just lower their AP so that you can do more stuff. You can use it defensively or offensively, even if you want to destroy a unit and you don't want your own unit to be destroyed. So this is a very versatile card. You can tell already that a lot of people are thinking about this card because this is the most expensive command that you can get from the starter decks. It's the most expensive as just a regular card. It's the most expensive in its alt art form. If you're looking for that, it is the most expensive, only being near by close combat as a plus. So people are thinking about this card, and the fact that it is going to be in your hand, you can trigger it from your hand while your opponent doesn't know that you have it. That's going to be really nice because you can, again, use it as a counter or ace, for example, from other card games to surprise your opponent. And if you have played Digimon, for example, you saw the introduction of the ace. Having cards that can trigger from your hand in a game like this is super important and a big difference maker, and something that you have to keep in mind for the rest of the game, right? So Unforeseen Incident, probably the best command in the game. I would say that you maybe get your 4 copies, and if you're not running it right now, maybe you run it in the future, because you don't want to have, you don't want to be missing this card when they go up, and you now have to run a deck that doesn't have it anymore, right? So that's the top 5 right now from the starter decks. If you feel like your card or a different card belongs in the top 5, or if you have any opinions about the order in which they're coming out, please let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more Gundam stuff or Digimon stuff, make sure that you subscribe, that you like the video and that type of stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.